Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and Happy New Year. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I made this Zelda themed cake, so let's get right into it. I'm starting out with 3 7-inch cakes that I've leveled, and I'm going to be stacking those up and filling them with some Swiss meringue buttercream using my small offset spatula. If you're interested in the recipe for the buttercream or the cake, I will have those linked down below. I have this 5-inch square template that I made for myself, and I'm placing that right in the middle of my cake, just making sure that it's centered. Then, grabbing my serrated knife, I'm going to start carving my cake. So I'm starting at the edge of that 5-inch card, and I'm cutting at an angle until I reach the bottom of my 7-inch cake. And I want to make sure that I'm not really carving a whole lot away from the bottom. Just take your time, do small cuts. It's a lot easier to take off more than it is to put it back on, and just do your best to make all the sides even. There are a ton of different images of the Master Sword in the stone. The stone always looks a little bit different in all the ones that I've seen, so I just picked an image that I really liked and went with that, but you certainly don't have to if you like a different interpretation. Once my cake was carved and I was happy with the shape of it, I applied a thin layer of that vanilla buttercream all the way around my cake to lock in those crumbs, and then that's going to go in the fridge for about 25 minutes to chill. Once you can touch your finger to the buttercream and none of it comes off, it's ready for the final ice. So I added a liberal amount of my buttercream all around my cake, and then just used my spatula to smooth it out as best I could. To help me get some nice, crisp, clean lines on this cake, I grabbed my bench scraper and just went around the sides and the top, just taking my time and making it as smooth as I possibly can. Once my cake was done, I put it in the fridge to chill, and then I started on my fondant. I have some gray fondant here that I am rolling out on my cornstarch surface to about 1/8 of an inch thick. I picked my fondant up and then draped that over my chilled cake, and then just quickly using my hands and my fondant smoothers, I did my best to push all the air out from the top of my cake, and then just working my way down the sides, paying special attention to the corners because you want to make sure that you maintain that crisp looking edge. Once the cake was covered, I grabbed 2 fondant smoothers and just went over all of the edges, just really trying to maintain that sharp look. And then lastly, I just went around the bottom with my pizza cutter and trimmed away all that excess fondant. To create my sword, I have some light gray fondant that I'm rolling out fairly thin, and then I've created this template for myself, and I link the one that I used below, and I'm just going to start cutting that out using my X-Acto knife. You could also use gum paste to make your sword. I added a little bit of tylose powder to my light gray fondant just so it really firmed up as I let it sit. Before my fondant had time to completely dry, I grabbed my X-Acto knife and just etched in the design that's on the blade of the sword. I let the sword dry completely before I started to make the hilt. You can see I've already laid down a piece of that purple. I just looked at my reference photo and tried to recreate the shapes as best I could. I used my fondant tool to mark in any lines, and I just layered each piece so that it gave it a little more dimension. It didn't look so flat. Once all of the purple was down, I used some light green fondant that I cut into long, thin strips and just created that crisscross binding on the handle. Using some white fondant, I cut out this diamond shaped and added it on top of my purple, and then I added 2 little strips of white to the very bottom of my handle as well. To finish it off, I grabbed my Rolcom Luster Dust in Super Gold and Super Silver, and I mixed them with a little bit of food grade alcohol and painted the silver onto the blade of the sword and then the gold onto all the white pieces. To make it so my sword can actually stick into the cake, I've rolled out more of my gray fondant and I'm pushing in 2 wooden skewers into that. I brushed the back of my sword with a little bit of water and then I placed that over top, completely covering the skewers, and I just made sure that I had enough of those skewers showing at the bottom so they would stick securely into the cake. If you don't leave enough space there, your sword's just going to wobble around. To make my Triforce symbol for the front of the cake, I cut out 3 black triangles and then just placed them down so they create a larger triangle, and I just used a little bit of water to adhere that. Once I had left my sword for a couple of hours to completely dry, I placed that into the center of the top of my cake. To make Navi, I'm going to start with the wings, so I'm rolling out some of my white fondant and then I'm cutting that into 2 pieces. I have some metal wire that I'm placing over top of my white fondant, just leaving a little bit of excess to overhang, and I'm going to fold that white fondant over it. Mine just stuck together, but if you need a little bit of adhesive, you can just add a little bit of water, and then I'm making sure that it folds over right where the wire is. I just eyeballed the shape of the wing using a reference photo that I will link below, and then once I was done, I just used my X-Acto knife to score in some texture, and you want to make sure that you have 2 of these, one for either side. For the 2 smaller wings that go on the bottom, I just cut out these 2 white pieces of fondant, and then again, just eyeballed the shape and texturized them. For Navi's body, I have this light blue fondant that I rolled into a ball, and I let this firm up pretty good before I tried to put the wings in, and I just gently pressed them into either side. I added Navi to the corner of my cake and then just placed down those little wings at the bottom. And this was the final result, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I love Zelda, and I think Breath of the Wild especially is just beautiful, so I was so happy to make this. Thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to see a particular cake done, don't forget to leave that in the comment section below, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe to my channel for new videos every week.